Hi, I'm Ryan Collins from educate.me, and today I'm going to talk to you about the file extensions that you may come across when you're looking at different files that you get from other people or that you find on the internet. But first of all, what is a file extension? When you get a file, you'll notice that there is something after a period at the end. That is the file extension, and it's a big way that the computer figures out how it's going to deal with that file. That means if this extension is missing or it's wrong for the file, then the computer's not going to know what to do with that file when you double click on it, or apps on your computer won't know that it can actually open that file. This can happen sometimes when a person will save a file with a different file name and they'll accidentally not let the computer automatically add an extension to it, and so it might not have an extension or it might have the wrong one. When you're on your Mac or Windows machine, by default, it doesn't show file extensions. I always turn on show file extensions just to save me some troubleshooting down the road. On the Mac, to turn on file extensions, in the Finder, go to Finder Preferences, and there's a checkbox that says Show All File Name Extensions. This way, all of the extensions will always be shown. If you're coming to this video and saying, I never see those, that's why. Under Windows, if you open up File Explorer, under the View options, there is an option to show the file extensions. Because by default, they're gone. They're still there, you just don't see them. And the icon kind of tells you what the files are, but that's why I always turn on show file extensions, so I always know what kind of file I'm working with. Because these that have the VLC icon, I thought they were movie files, but they're actually sound files because they're .wav. So let's look at some of the different file extensions that are out there. First big ones that you'll see are the Microsoft Office file extensions. .docx, .xlsx, .pptx. There's a few other ones that go with Microsoft Office, but these are the big ones that you might see. There is a .pptx, which is an auto-playing PowerPoint file that you might see. So the docx is the Microsoft Word, .xlsx is the Excel, and .pptx is the PowerPoint. If you have Microsoft Office on your computer, they'll open up pretty easily. But what if you don't have Microsoft Office? If you're a Google user, you can upload these to Google Drive, and Google can open these up in Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slides really easily while keeping all the formatting. So you can work on them in the Google Cloud Suite and still save the file and send it off to somebody, and they'll never know that you edited them. If you're on a Mac, the iWord suite, Keynote, Pages, and Numbers can also open up these files. And if you double click on them on a Mac and you don't have Office installed, they'll automatically open. If you want to use something else, there's also LibreOffice, which can open these file formats and work on them. Next files that you might see, and these are if you work with people that are on a Mac, are files from the iWord suite, .pages, .numbers, .keynote. If you get one of these files and you're not on a Mac, you're okay still. I'm going to show you how you can get to open these. If you're on a Mac, all of these applications are free. If they're not installed, you can install them pretty easily. But if you're on a Chromebook or a Windows machine or a Linux machine, what you can do is get a free Apple account, Apple ID. With an Apple ID, you can open up those files online, no problem. Piece of cake. And that works even on a Chromebook. So if you have a Chromebook and you need to open up a document that you got from an Apple user, you can use a free Apple ID to open that document. Finally, of the most common file formats that you might see, they're picture files, .jpeg, .png, and .gif. Those are all the different picture files. There's a difference in how these store and what they're good for. JPEGs are good for photographs, digital pictures. PNG is better for graphics, like what I have here with the painter's palette and the camera. GIF is limited to 256 colors, so it's an older format. And you notice I said GIF? I am in the GIF camp for life or longer. That's how the creator decided to say it. That's how I learned to say it. That's how I say it. So If you wanted me to pronounce it something else, it's not going to happen. So GIF has some limitations of the format, but it can also have animations. I grabbed this animated GIF in there. Those are your 3 different types of picture formats. And then movie formats, most of them nowadays are .mov or .mp4, but you'll also find ones that are in .mkv. If you need to show a video, it's not as tough as it used to be, but what I recommend is grabbing VLC. It'll play anything you throw at it. It just works. Finally, if you get a file in a format that you can't do anything with, you can use Cloud Convert to convert that file to something else. So if I select a file here, this is a .png, and I can convert it to any other picture format that I would want. I can convert that PNG to a JPEG if I want. So sometimes that comes in handy. Cloud Convert has some limitations of the free, but for those little quick one-offs, they work pretty well. And that's all I have to say about file extensions for today. Hopefully you got something out of this. If you did like this video, be sure to hit like down below and check out my website over at educate.me. Stay classy.